All right, y'all, you know how we get, man. When we be doing these reactions and we're not doing the music reactions, we gotta hop on that educational ish, man. We gotta learn something. We gotta get educated. We gotta grow the noggin, you feel me? So, the baby boomers, the generation that sold out Gen Z. See, a lot of people be saying that Gen Z and baby boomers have some sort of beef, you know, that we can't get along, that we don't really mess with each other. So let's see why we don't get along, or what the case is, or what be going on between these two generations, man.
The baby boomers inherited prosperity. You inherited debt. And here's the punchline. They think it's your fault.
This here's the American dream, back when you could buy a house on one income, retire by 60, and still have time to judge your neighbors. It's not on because it's old, but because they broke it, and now they pretend it never worked any other way.
Right. The dream where you win, change the rules, then pretend it was always fair.
And now for our latest addition to the exhibit, the boomer, in its natural habitat. No resume, no experience, just historical entitlement and ambient opportunity.
If I had your resources, I could get a job today.
And here we see the rare American pension plan, extinct since 2005.
I just walked into the factory and they gave me a job.
Act 1. The myth they sold us. A couple hundred years ago, land was cheap. Beer cured dysentery, and you could catch a career in a fishing net. The British Royal Navy had a little trick for staying afloat. If you joined up young and strong, the crown would pay you in rum, land, and promises, just enough to make you think you were building a future. Of course, by the time your teeth fell out from scurvy and your spine resembled a question mark, that land grant was a damp swamp in Nova Scotia, and the pension was a pat on the head and a cannon salute. So, now enter the American dream, that magical Hallmark sponsored fantasy land where you graduate on a Thursday, land a steel mill job Friday, buy a house Saturday, and have 2 or 3 kids with a mortgage smaller than your car payment by Monday morning. And all you had to do was be born before 1964. You know, back when you could afford a family on a single income and still have change left over for cigarettes, cocaine, and a pool.
Damn. That was actually very interesting. Bro brought up a lot of interesting points that I had like never really considered for real, in terms of like, you know, the differences between our generation and boomers, and like why we don't really get along too well, or why we don't tend to see eye to eye. That was pretty interesting. Alright, y'all, let me know what y'all thought in the comments in terms of the video, in terms of what are your opinions on the two generations and why there's such a disparity, or there's such a difference between us. But yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments what you think, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.